We all know that it's hot outside, so the heat is to blame for another death in the metro. This morning, the number is now at 14. It's very interesting how this continues to grow because last week it was 10, now it is 14, and these are suspected heat-related deaths. Here with me is Bill Snook. He's with the health department. He's a spokesperson for them. Tell us about how you guys are seeing these numbers and how are they coming to you and why do they continue to increase?
Well, we really need to remember that with heat-related illnesses and heat-related fatalities, it's about who you are, what you're doing, and what you're putting into your body. It's a combination of factors, and heat is one of the main drivers. So when we get an actual notification from the medical examiner, we do look at what's going on, and then we go ahead and we look at what's going on in the hospitals to make sure that what we're seeing is what is actually happening.
So that's why we can see them increase practically overnight.
Correct.
You know, because you're getting all new information from the hospital and the medical examiner. Let's talk about what it's like in these homes where these people may have died from the heat. What kind of temps are you seeing inside?
Well, we really can't talk about what's going on with the actual investigation, but what we've seen...
How hot do homes get in these?
It all depends on what's going on in that person's environment. We could have...
What have you seen personally? Have you seen any homes that are over 100 inside?
I have not seen any homes because I really can't talk about those cases that are under investigation. In the past, what we've seen is temperatures anywhere from 98 to 101. We've seen a lot of high humidity. They may have no air conditioning. They may be in front of a fan. So there's many different factors that go on.
And they mainly elderly people? Are they children? What age group?
We can go from an infant all the way to a very elderly person. It really doesn't discriminate.
Mm-hmm. And the people that you guys are investigating to see if it is heat-related deaths, do they have people who are, watching after them? Would you recommend people at this time to go out there and check on the elderly, check on, folks who may not have anyone?
Well, the city always asks that residents to look at their neighbors, their friends, and their families at least once in the morning and once in the evening, especially if you know that those people are alone. But also, you need to look out for your coworkers if you're out doing yard work. Do it in the morning, do it in the late at the evening, and let someone know that you're out there. Because if you do get into trouble and you start having heat exhaustion, you really need to go see it.
What are the signs of heat exhaustion?
Heat exhaustion, heavy sweating, a weak pulse. You may start feeling dizzy or nauseous. You may start not really tracking well mentally, and then you can quickly progress into a heat stroke where your skin is cold and clammy, you're not really sweating, and you have a bounding pulse, a rapid pulse, and then you're quickly going into a seizure.
Would you recommend wearing a black shirt like yours in these temps?
Not outside, no. Luckily, I have some air conditioning that I can go into, but if I was going to be into a situation where I was going to be out for a long period of time, I would not be wearing black. I'd be wearing light, loose-fitting clothing and a hat. So
if you were just out for a few minutes wearing a black shirt, you should be fine.
You should be fine, but if you're on certain medications, if you're on...
Like what?
Like sedatives, diuretics, certain narcotics, if those actually impair your body's ability to cool itself down. But if you also have, if you're taking alcohol, if you're having a lot of caffeine, that's actually going to push more water out of your body and try to dehydrate you. So you really have to look at what you're doing, who you are, and what you're putting into your body.
Do you expect these numbers to increase? The 14 so far, do you expect it to continue to go up?
It all depends on what people do. If people actually take some precautions and they can go to a cooling center to have their body recover for a little while, we hopefully won't see any more.
How does this compare to previous years?
Each year is different. But it's not like in 1980 where we had 157 deaths.
157 in one summer?
In one summer in 1980.
No kidding.
It was 102 for, over 102 for 17 days, and then it was over 108 for 7 days. Mm-hmm. So we're not seeing those 1980 temps, but we're still seeing enough that it's cause for concern and people really need to take precautions.
Okay. Bill, thank you. He's with the health department, a spokesperson for them. And once again, just be careful out there. Check on the elderly. Check on people who may not have others nearby. So, your neighbors, your coworkers, all that. 14 people suspected of heat-related deaths.